Hi everyone, welcome back to Cowboy Survival. I'm Richard, and I'm kind of new at this, as I've explained to you guys before. This is kind of a new thing for me when I realized how unprepared I was for the eventualities that might occur. One of the things that happened to me as I was beginning to put together my go bags and my get home bags is I got very confused about all the different kinds of camp stoves that you could put in your backpack. I looked at some of those, the Jet Boil and some of those, they're really expensive. And then I came across some that weren't so expensive. So what we're going to look at today is 3 inexpensive alternatives. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of each, and we're going to look and see how fast each one of them actually heats up a cup of water. So stay tuned, and we're going to see what we can learn today. So we're going to be looking at 3 fairly inexpensive options for a backpack camp stove. Something that's light, something that's easy to carry, something that's not going to weigh a lot and it's not going to cost you a lot. I looked at some of the others on the market. For instance, the Jet Boil. I really like it. It's well built. It's a really cool item. It's going to last you for a long time. The canister that comes with it's a little bulky for me, but it's a good item. The other thing is it's a little expensive for my taste, for my purposes, for a get home bag or a go bag. Remember, we're not looking for something that's going to be your every weekend go camping with the friends kind of cook system. We're looking for a heating system that's going to go in either a get home bag or a go bag. For a get home bag, you're going to want something that will, take care of your needs for about 24 hours or so. For a go bag, you're going to want something maybe 72 hours, maybe a day or two longer, but not something that's necessarily going to last you for years. So I've got 3 items here. This is the Coughlin foldable camp stove. It works off of fuel cubes, and it's about $11 off Amazon, plus you got to buy the fuel cubes to go with it, right? Now this is also off of Amazon. It's called the Extremity camp stove. It's kind of interesting. We're going to look at it, and it's brand new. I haven't even tried it yet, so this will be the first time I've tried it. It works off these little butane canisters that you can get at any backpacking or camping store. This is the Ozark Trail 4-in-1 camp stove. I actually already did a video on this in detail, but we're going to see some of this stuff again. Again, what we're going to do is set each one of these things up and try to see how they work. Now, as I said, this one's about $11 off of Amazon. This is about the same price, $11 off of Amazon. This is $14.95 off of Walmart's website. So it's a little bit more, and they all have sort of different features that come with them. So we're going to take a look at all of those as well. So stay tuned, stay on. We're going to go through each one of these one at a time. We're going to start with the Ozark Trail 4-in-1 camp stove. Now, I've already gone through a full video on this, so I won't go through it in detail, but it's a pretty nice little camp stove, just screws onto this. It does come with this stand, foldable stand for the canister, so it gives you an extra amount of stability. It also comes with this adapter. This is really nice. You can screw this onto the bottom, and it allows you to also use the Coleman propane tanks, the little green canisters that you can buy. So that's great. You can use 2 different types of fuel with this. So I'm going to start it. If you'll remember a couple things. First of all, when you first screw this on, it tends, if it's in the locked position, it tends to already be on a little bit, so you have to make sure and turn it off before you screw it on. Second, if you remember the last time I tried this in another video, when I turned it on, I couldn't get the igniter to work. A few minutes ago, it worked just fine. Let's see how it does now. So I'm going to turn on the gas. You may be able to hear it. And it started just fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my water on this, and before I do that, I'm going to start my timer. And we're going to, so let's get the timer started here. So we're going to start the timer. I want to stop watching this, don't I? There we go. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know if you can, but we're going to start it. And then I'm going to put this on here, and we're going to see how long it takes for this to boil. So I am at about 1.5 minutes, and I can already see the bubbles starting to come up inside the cup. So we're getting pretty close to starting to boil, starting to simmer at this point. So I am now at the 2-minute and 30-second mark, and the water's starting to boil. Hopefully you can see that in the cup. It's really starting to boil vigorously. So there it goes, boiling vigorously at this point. Again, hopefully you can see that. But it's less than 3 minutes that it took for that water to boil in that cup on the 4-in-1 camp stove. So that's pretty good. Took me 3 minutes to get the boiling water. Let's now go check out the Extremis. So next I want to look at the Extremis. I bought this off of Amazon for about $10.96. I want to show you something that's remarkable. So I'm going to pull this out. It comes with 3 items in this. It comes in with a little case, and that's where your little stove thing is. It comes with a foldable knife, not knife, spoon and fork. So those are kind of nice. You simply fold this out, and you have some foldable camp utensils. But when I take this out of the pack, I want you to notice something. I don't know if you can tell a whole lot of difference between these two. I certainly can't. They look pretty similar to me. Same color stuff, same color plungers. I think these are made by the same company, to be honest with you. So I don't expect there to be a lot of difference. The main difference was this one came with an adapter for the Coleman fuel bottles. It also comes with the stand that goes in the bottom to give you extra stability. This one does not come with the stand for the extra stability, but it does come with this foldable spoon and fork. So we're going to put this on here and see how well this works. Again, I haven't tried this yet. So we're going to spin this on there. It's in the off position, so we'll spin it on. I'm going to move my little pot supports around. So we spin those around, we simply fold these out. And I'm going to turn the gas on. And then when I turn the gas on, we'll be able to start this thing, hopefully. There it goes. Oh, started pretty quick. So I'm going to put some water in my cup. Got the same amount of water we had in the other cup. And I'm going to take this and set this on my little camp stove. And we're going to start the timer and see how long it takes for this one to boil. So we're at the 1 minute 30-second mark. We're starting to see some simmering in the cup, bubbles on the bottom, just like we did when we tried the Ozark Trail stove. So we're going to wait a few more minutes, a couple more minutes maybe, and I'll be right back and we'll show it boiling. So we're at 2.5 minutes, and what you may be able to see is that the water is starting to boil much faster. We're starting to see the bubbles coming up. It's just about to start a rolling boil. You can probably see in that cup perhaps. It's really starting to go now, and it's almost at a rolling boil. And there we go, at the 3 minute mark, we have a rolling boil in the cup. So just like the Ozark Trail, you get the 3 minutes to the rolling boil. And in fact, I'm going to take that cup off of there because it's starting to rock a little bit. Looks to me like the Ozark Trail and the Extremis work about the same. As I said, they look almost identical. So we're going to take that off of there. So they look almost identical to each other. And so there you go. We've got the Extremis at 3 minutes. So what we're going to try next is the Coughlin foldable camp stove. It folds up into a little box like this. Your fuel cells can be carried inside. You can also take some extra fuel cells with you. Now this will open up all the way, but if I open it up all the way like this, the cup won't fit in it. So I've got to open it up like about halfway like this, and the cup will fit right on there. You've got to light these 2 cubes and it will create an open flame. So I'm going to use a match to light those. Now I want you to notice when I used the 2 other miniature camp stoves, the 4-in-1 from Ozark Trail and the one from Extremis, it did not discolor my cup. My cup stayed nice and silver and nice color. You'll see when we get done with this, the cup will be significantly discolored because of the open flame that's hitting it. That's normal. There's nothing wrong with the metal when that happens. It just discolors your cup and it won't look as pretty as it did to start with. So I'm going to use my little UCO stormproof matches because I like using them. They're kind of cool. These things burn very hot but very quickly. And they will light. Even if you stick them under water and pull them out, they'll still light. So I'm going to drag this across here and light this. So it lights really quick. You can see I'm going to lay it down on top of that, and it will catch those cubes on fire. Now, they take a little while to get going. Matter of fact, those cubes will take about a couple minutes to actually get going well. we'll see that didn't actually light it, did it? So sometimes these things light really quick, sometimes they don't. Looks like they did light. Okay, so they're lighting. It's going to take about a minute or so for those to get going. So remember, with the gas, we put the gas on and it's lit and heated up immediately. These will take just about a minute to really get going, maybe a minute and a half or so. And they'll get going well enough to do the water. But I'm going to go ahead and put the water on there. And we'll set the water right down on top of this. Same amount of water we had in the other cups. It's a little bit of a slope, but it'll be okay, I think. And so we're going to put that cup on there, and we're going to see how long it takes for that cup to boil. In the past, it's taken about 4 minutes, so we're going to see what that takes. So we'll come back when the water starts to simmer a little bit, and we see what that looks like. So I'm at about the minute-and-a-half mark. We've got some bubbles in the bottom of the cup. I don't know if you can see those. Not as much as we had when we had the gas-powered, the little butane-powered stoves. But we are seeing some bubbles start to form on the bottom of the cup. Remember, we had about a minute to a minute and a half to get those cubes going. And then we bet that at this point we're at 2 minutes. So I'm going to come back in just a little while and we'll see how that's doing. So at the 3-minute mark for the 4-in-1 stove from Ozark Trail and for the Extremity stove, we were already at a rolling boil. We're not quite there yet. We've been on the flame for about 3 minutes. It's not burning quite as hot as the other did, but you can obviously see the open flame coming up from those fuel cubes. Now, those fuel cubes actually won't last a long time. They'll burn out after about 8 minutes. So they burn hot, but for a very short amount of time. You should carry extra fuel cubes with you if you're going to be cooking using this particular stove, and they're not too expensive. You can get them off the internet, and I've got quite a supply of them for my own needs. But you would need to have a large supply if you're going to depend upon the stove for a long time. What's nice is that you don't have to clean it. I just keep mine in a quart baggie. So I'm not going to worry about soot getting on anything. But as we're going to see when we get done with this cup will have a significant amount of scorching on the bottom of the cup. Now, you're starting to see the water boil. I imagine it won't be but just a couple of minutes, and you'll see a rolling boil from this cup. And so we're at the 4-minute and 15-second mark right now. It shouldn't be too long, and we'll see a rolling boil. So I'd say that's a pretty good rolling boil. Where this took, the other took about 3 minutes to get to a rolling boil. This one took just a little over 4.5 minutes from the time we put the water on the flame. So we got, it takes a little bit longer, but not significantly. So I'd say that this was also a positive test. It's convenient, it's easy to light. I just threw that match on there and it lit the fuel cubes really well. I stuck my cup on there. It will open up if you have a bigger pot. To set that on. It's pretty stable. It does have to sit on the ground, so that can be an issue. Particularly if you've got dry tinder, so you want to make sure you're on a place of ground that's not going to start a fire. And it does have an open flame, so you'll have to let that flame die down before you can break camp and move on. So anyway, there's your 3 types of camp stoves. I hope you found that interesting. We took a look at the Coughlin foldable camp stove. That's still a little warm, that's why I'm holding it with my glove. We took a look at the Ozark Trail 4-in-1 and at the Extremity. These two are almost identical, I think. They look exactly the same. It wouldn't surprise me if they're manufactured by the same company. The only difference really is what they come with. They both boil the water in 3 minutes. This one comes with a stand to put on your canisters so to make it a little more stable, and it comes with an adapter so that you could use the Coleman fuel bottles if you wanted to. This one does not come with a stand, but it does come with a foldable fork and spoon. This one was $10.95, this one was $14.95. The Coughlin was also $10.95. So I think we had a good comparison. I think all of these were successful. The Coughlin took a little bit longer to boil, but I don't think it was significant. I guess maybe that minute-and-a-half difference, it was significant if you're in a hurry, but I thought they both did, all 3 of these did well. So hopefully you learned something today and you found yourself a good low-cost solution to your fire kit or your camping kit, your cooking kit, for your either go bag or your get home bag. Hope you enjoyed this. Goodbye from Cowboy Survival. If you like this video, please click the like button below, and we'd love to have you subscribe to the channel. We'll see you real soon.